Okay, so there's slight discoloration in the tail, creating these little red stripes here. Just fill it in the rest of the tail. Move on up to the back. And there we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to move on to the fins over here, make sure that they get a little bit of this nice bright tone. Okay, good. Now let's move on to the top of the head here. The fin on the back of his head. Okay, so that looks good as well. I'm liking that. Alright, great. Now for the pole, I'm just going to darken up that pole a bit. It does feel a little bit loose. So I'm just going to darken it up with a dark tone. Make it more solid. Make it easier to see. Okay. There we go. We have a nice little stick there. Great. Let's get in these little fingers. How does he carry this thing? Okay, and we could drop in a couple little fingers on this side as well. Okay. Alright, so that's looking pretty good now, and I feel like that vest, it's a little bit lighter up here, a little bit darker down here, and that's enough value for me at this point. So let me just fix up some of this drawing here, get rid of some of the lines, because outlines, you know, there are no, most outlines in life are not real outlines, they're just edges of forms. So if we keep a lot of those outlines there, it won't feel 3D anymore. So I just want to get rid of some of them. Could apply some of them back in, except when I apply them back in now, I'm thinking more along the lines of these are shadows. They aren't outlines, they're shadows. Okay? Okay, so that's looking pretty good, and you know, because I put that shadow there, I definitely want to apply some shadow onto the darker part of the tail here, just so that it matches with the whole entire idea of shadows just underneath the tail. Okay, if the shadow's like that, then there should be a tail shadow, or a shadow right on the tail. Okay. Alright, and what else do we want to do? I do want to do something here. Looks a little strange right now. It looks a little flat, is what I should say. So it looks a little flat, could use a little bit of lighting. I don't want too much lighting because it is in the shadow. I do want it to feel darker. Okay, and there we go. Alright, so now next thing to do is probably do the fish. Okay, so for the first fish, I'm just going to make this up. I'm going to just color his belly a little lighter, just like our little fisherman friend here. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to make a lighter belly for the other one, except more saturated. For third one, let's make it facing the other way. So I'm just going to eyedrop that blue, and I'm going to go to a lighter tone over here and apply this lighter tone on the other side. So this is the belly of the other fish. Okay, and the last fish, it's red, but I'm going to have the belly go quite yellow. This is a very colorful fish. Okay, perhaps with some stripes. And at this point, you might be thinking, well, those don't look like fish, but if you look into a smaller window, then you'll get what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to get them to feel like fish from far away. If you look up close, no, they won't look like fish just yet. But from far away, they will start to feel like fish. Okay, this one might have some spots. Okay. And what else can we add on here? We can add on some dark stripes. There's always lots of fish with dark stripes, so let's add on some stripes onto this guy. I try not to keep them too uniformed. I like to vary them up a little bit. As well, I'm trying to curve the lines ever so slightly, these little stripes here, so that it goes with the contours of this of the fish form. Even though the fish is quite flat, it does have a little bit of curvature to it, so I don't want to forget that. Okay, let's put in a little eye here, and let's pick a nice red tone for the gills. Okay, so we have nice little gills here. Perhaps right there as well. Okay, so now we're really starting to see this thing come out. And now, one of my other favorite parts to creating concepts is adding, sometimes I like to add a secondary light so I could show a little bit better the other side of the creature and how the light lands on these forms, and it'll tell the viewer, it'll tell the director even more about the overall shape of this character.